I'm in Los Angeles for REIT World 2019, NAREIT's annual conference. I'm joined today by Dominique Moornhut, CEO with EPRA. Dominique, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me again.
Great. Now, I'd like to start. What are your expectations for the European listed real estate sector as we head into 2020?
Yeah, so we expect to see a continued growth of the European listed real estate sector, mainly thanks to the growing importance of the M&A and also the alternative sector. In Europe, the alternatives have been growing rapidly over the last years, especially in the healthcare sector and logistics, and we do expect this to continue the coming years. Also, interestingly, we start seeing more and more appetite from the generalist investors to invest in a sector. I know it's going to be, I would say, a long-term exercise, but today, speaking to investors on a daily basis, I really start to see the generalists to consider more and more the listed real estate sector as an opportunity for them in their asset class, and especially in their asset allocation in general, be it tactical or strategic asset allocation. Unfortunately, what we have seen in Europe, especially during the year 2019, the number of IPOs has been subdued during the whole year. This is mainly due, I think, to I would say some political, some economic tensions across Europe, such as the Brexit. But I really hope that this phenomenon will be over for the year 2020.
Okay. And as an organization, what is EPRA's top priority for 2020?
I would start first of all by the Solvency II regulations. So you probably recall that EPRA started advocating 2 years ago about a movement on the Solvency II legislation. And I would say our advocacy has really paid off, because since June this year, insurance companies in Europe can invest more into the listed real estate sector, because we convinced the European Commission to drastically lower the capital requirements which were applied unfairly to the listed real estate investments done by the insurance companies compared to the direct real estate investments. In practical terms, so the European Commission has reduced the capital requirements from 39% to 22%, whilst today it is still 25% for the direct real estate sector. So our sector is very well equipped today, and this will not only serve the European listed real estate sector, but the global listed real estate sector, because insurance companies will probably invest more and more on a global basis. Why was this so important for EPRA is that it's exactly the contrary situation in Europe compared to the US. In the US, the pension fund industry is much bigger than the insurance companies' assets under management. In Europe, the insurance sector is 3 times larger than the pension fund industry. So it's 12 trillion of assets under management compared to 4 trillion of assets under management for the pension funds industry. So it was very important for us to really advocate there, and we are really pleased that we could achieve such a tangible impact for sector. That's the first thing. The second thing, together with our partners, FTSE and NAREIT, it is definitely the objective to develop a new index series. We are talking about green index, we are talking about bond index, potentially real asset index in the future, and this is really, I would say, an exciting project for the 3 partners. Investor outreach, like for NAREIT, is a very important subject at EPRA as well. What has happened in Europe, back in the year 2018, a new legislation came into force, MiFID II, which really, I would say, create a big bank into the sector. And EPRA, as a neutral platform, really took the ball immediately, and we have started developing more and more large-scale corporate access events. The first one took place in London in December 2018, a big success. We repeated the exercise in June 2019, another big success, and we're going to have, I would say, our next one in a few weeks' time. And I'm really, really pleased that for the first time we will also have a US REIT presenting at this event, because I'm more and more in favor of approaching that from a global perspective.
And are there any trends which you think are going to be particularly interesting for your region in 2020?
Yeah, and I think also in Europe, but also in the US, because I've been here though for 48 hours and I hear talking everywhere about ESG. If there is definitely one area where Europe has always been more, I would say, advanced than the other regions in the world is ESG. You may recall that EPRA already launched in 2011 its best practice recommendations on sustainability, but only focused on the E part of ESG. 2 years ago, at the EPRA conference, we launched also guidelines for the S and the G part of the ESG. This has now been rolled out all across the sector, and we could achieve a huge traction from both property companies on the one side, but also from investors. It's a big success, and based on this success, we also launched this year what we call the EPRA SBPR database, or the Sustainability Best Practice Recommendation Database, containing all publicly available ESG data from all the European listed real estate sector. So that's definitely something which we see growing in the future. I also hear talking a lot about green bonds, about sustainable finance, and at the European level we do a lot of advocacy towards the European Commission and all the European bodies on sustainable finance. Yeah.
Excellent. Dominique, thank you so much for
My
joining.
pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
For more from REIT World 2019, be sure to visit NAREIT's website, REIT.com.